Hey guys, welcome to Jack's Treasures. My name is Brian,
My name's Tracy.
and this is our ongoing series of questions and answers that resellers commonly have, including whether you're a brand new reseller or, like us, experienced resellers. We've been
Or maybe
reselling.
you just really want to be a reseller because reselling is so cool.
Yeah, it is really, really a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But today's question is,
What is the importance of feedback?
yeah, what is the importance of feedback? Oh
One
my
thing
gosh,
I will
okay.
say that is consistent from every single reselling platform.
She punched me in the nose last time we were recording, just letting y'all know.
Every single
So
platform
go ahead and
we've
check out
sold
that
on.
video because it's actually very cute, comical that I get hit in the nose. I got a
I'm
big
going to do it again. But one thing that is consistent from every platform is there is some form of a feedback system.
Feedback and or review.
Yes.
Either one of
So
those.
that leads me to believe that feedback means something.
And just to let you know, this is just our opinions. Okay. So if you have a different opinion, or if you have a comment, or you want to talk about any kind of feedback that you got, please leave it down in the comments down below.
Or if you want to schedule a wrestling match to decide who is right, I'm always ready to fight.
What? Oh my God. Okay, guys, that's on Tracy.
I'm a grappler.
She is. There's a story there, but I won't tell you. Okay, so what is the importance of feedback and or a review? Well, first off, what is feedback and or review?
Well, feedback is generally when you're the person selling, the customer then has the you're like flinching every time I move my hands now.
Okay, because right now I'm already disagreeing with you because there's two forms of feedback.
Well, there is, but I guess we're talking from a seller perspective, that the customer leaves feedback on your performance as a seller
based on their experience.
Yes.
Of the buying and selling.
Now,
I just totally forgot the word.
Some platforms do allow the seller to leave feedback for the buyer. The one I think of most particularly that would be Mercari is you can leave feedback on the buyer. I don't think you can leave it for. You can reply. You can't leave feedback for a buyer.
Oh, as a buyer, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. eBay used to.
They did.
eBay used to, but
as far as I know, right now, the only one that actually allows, or the only one that we participate in that allows the seller to leave feedback on the buyer is Mercari.
Yeah. So basically, it's their experience in the buying process.
Yes.
That's the words that I was trying to think of. That just totally just went.
Words are hard.
right out of my brain. Okay, so what are the importance of the feedback? Well,
it's one of the first, I guess, indications that a buyer who's thinking about buying from you has to base that buying ability on. They can see your history before they purchase.
That's right. So right there with a market,
words are hard
because you got to think about this. There's a big, huge market, especially on eBay and even on whatnot. There is and other selling platforms, District, Jamble, Mercari, all of those.
Poshmark.
So there's only a limited there is a limited amount of buyers per product. So if I'm selling this little lamp dollhouse thing right here, there's only a certain amount of buyers that are going to be looking at that lamp. So how do they base their buying process on? Well, price is one, but what if the prices are very, very similar? Well, then they're going to probably base it on feedback.
Right.
They're going to look to see who is the one that's more responsible with getting the product to you in a safe manner and in a timely manner, as opposed to the person who you look at their negative feedback, or you look at their feedback and their feedback is like 96%,
right?
Because there's a portion of people that aren't getting their items. There's a portion of people that aren't. Sorry, that was.
I didn't flinch.
No, she didn't, because you know better. I don't want to get beat up. There's a portion of people out there that are just, they're not good sellers. Okay, let's just put it to you that way. They don't ship properly. Their items get broken a lot. They blame it on post office for lates, whatever it may be. Okay, so the importance of feedback is that's your best way, especially on a static listing, which is like eBay, to present yourself as a seller,
to make a good
to sell yourself to the buyer,
Yes.
okay, is feedback, because that's just the way that it's going to be. And as hard as we try, and so Tracy and I both have two eBay stores. Okay,
well, we
they're
each
separate.
have one eBay store.
They are separate stores, and they have separate items in the store. We don't cross list. We don't have like the same of the items. We're not competing against each other on our end. We don't do things for that. We do that because we each had a store when we first started, and this was a way for her to say, well, she's going to have a more of a high end store, where I'm going to have more of a middle to staple items in our store when we started. So when you get those feedbacks, or as hard as you try to do the best selling experiences you can get, giving good proper pricing, getting your item shipped in a timely manner, shipping it in a good package, you still are going to have somebody that's not going to be satisfied with the item when they get the item, whether it's the best description that you possibly can give.
Let me tell you, on eBay right now, in the last 12 months, I have 2 negative feedbacks. One of them is for an item that the post office did lose, that I was reimbursed through insurance, and they were reimbursed for, but they still decided I needed a negative feedback for that, which I guess that's their opinion.
Right. And see that, I mean, you can, that's the one thing, you can't please every single buyer.
Other negative,
I think I have 4.
The other negative feedback I have, it says nope. That is what their negative feedback says. It says nope.
This isn't a you bashing your negative feedback episode, by the way.
I just like that one, to be honest. And it amuses me.
Did we say we were Jack's Treasures and that was our cat?
No, but we are.
Okay.
And that is. Was.
So that's the one thing with feedback. You're going to try your best to always present yourself as a seller the best way that you possibly can. Best descriptions of items, pointing out any flaws that you see. One of my negative feedbacks came because an item came to them with a flaw that I did not notice, and I responded to the buyer right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask them to redo to remove the feedback. You can ask them to do that.
I did ask the note person, but they didn't.
Yeah. I've done it one time, and they actually did, because I explained to them exactly what had happened. Because one time I got a negative feedback because I accidentally shipped the wrong item to the wrong person, and I did it obviously with 2 people, so I got a negative feedback for that. But they did, because after I made it right, they changed their feedback. But you're going to get those feedbacks. I mean, if you're a seller and you're selling hundreds of thousands of items, you're probably going to be getting a negative feedback.
And going back for 1 second to where I was going with me telling what my negative feedbacks are, is that in many cases...
Yes. Let's go with you.
No! I had somewhere to go with this.
Okay.
In most cases, when you have negative feedbacks, excuse me, they're going to speak for themselves. Like, those feedbacks, yes, they were negative, but anyone who actually looks at those feedbacks, they're going to realize that's not really something I got to worry about.
Yeah.
And that's where I was actually going with that, is that unless the person goes in there and says, you're a fraud scammer, you stole my money, most legitimate feedbacks, or even some not legitimate feedbacks, the people are going to be able to look and see, hey, that's really not something I got to worry about.
When you're looking at feedback,
like
even when people look at feedbacks, I will let you know, I do it. I think everybody does it. When they look at feedbacks, everybody clicks on, let me see the negative feedbacks. Yeah. Okay. The guy's got, like, for me, I got 1,400 feedbacks in the last 6 months or whatever, and I got 1 negative feedback. Let me click, I want to see the negative feedback.
Right.
And see what the negative feedback says. And if the negative feedback is there, then the people are going to take it they're going to form their opinion at that time. The one thing that you definitely want to do is you want to be aware of your feedback, but you don't necessarily have to check your feedback every day.
Don't want to obsess over it. It's just going to give you a headache.
Right. And it's going to be one of those things where you're going to obsess over the fact that you got a negative feedback and let that lead your day. So when you get a negative feedback, this is probably the hardest question that we're going to ask about this particular comment, is whether to respond to the feedback. Because you can, as an eBay seller, and even on whatnot, if you get a negative review, you can respond to that feedback. And what are your opinions on
Well,
should you respond?
I think to myself, is me responding going to make that feedback look better, or is it going to make it look worse?
Is it going to give it validation?
Right. For example, I'm going to go back to the one that said nope. I responded to that one, and my response was, I reached out to you. Please let me know if there's anything wrong with this transaction that I can fix. Because I had nothing to base that on, and I still never heard from the buyer. I mean, so at least the people who reviewed my feedback and saw that, maybe they realized, hey, this person's at least trying to make that right. But if it's a case of like a he said, she said kind of thing, like someone said, this shirt is not gray, it is black, I'm probably not going to respond to that. I'm just going to let that one stand, because me arguing and saying, no, actually it is gray, I see gray, that's all that's going to do is make me look argumentative.
Right. Like somebody would say on there, you listed this as a brand new item, and when I got it, it was pre-owned.
Right.
And then you say, no, it was a brand new item. Now you're just going back and forth on it. It's going to be his perception versus yours, especially on something that you list as new without tags.
Right.
Things of that nature, new out of box or whatever it may be, open box. There are times for you to respond, but the one thing about feedback is always be honest, okay, with it, and businesslike.
Yes, that's
don't start important. This, well, you're just an ass, Nope. You just write down underneath, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What the hell does this mean?
That doesn't make me look good.
That looks look like we're the ones that are unprofessional.
Right.
So, but if you leave the feedback like Tracy did and left it in that manner, on theirs, I think I got a negative feedback one time for slow shipping. And I just responded with it, I'm sorry that your item didn't arrive at a timely manner. Shipping was uploaded, or tracking shows that your item was dropped off at the post office the next business day. Whatever it may be. Just making it sound professional. Not that I'm trying to make excuses for the feedback. And I'm not going to sit there and say, well, it's the post office's fault.
Yeah,
no, I'm not going to do that. That makes you look like an ass. So what we do is we try to keep it as a positive and professional response if I'm going to respond to it. Some of them don't even respond.
Like I said, in that example, if someone thought the sweater was gray or thought it was black when I said gray, that's probably not what I'm going to respond to, because it's going to be best just left alone.
Yeah. And in some cases, it's honest feedback.
Yeah.
I shipped an item out that, like I said, it had a flaw in it that I did not see. Okay. And I just responded with, I apologize. We try to inspect all of our items, and that one got by us. A mistake happens. The thing about feedback is feedback can, on eBay, especially on eBay, feedback can affect your seller rating. So you get too many negative feedbacks, it starts affecting your seller rating, and you go from a top level, or what do they call it? Top seller?
Top rated or
top rated seller. I don't even know, because we've always been it, so I don't really notice it too well, where you get better discounts on the shipping, and you'll drop down to just a seller.
I think
and then
currently that feedback doesn't feed into that directly.
Oh, really?
It has in the past. They're always changing it. I don't believe it directly feeds into it right now, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, we don't know. So let us know in the chat below, especially if you're selling more on eBay, because we've always been top rated.
In any case,
I don't really
I have heard that the algorithm tends to favor people who have the better feedbacks. I mean, there's always talk about the eBay algorithm and what it is and isn't. Nobody really knows.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's one of the things, again, on Whatnot. It'll show, most people have the 5.0 rating. Okay. Some people will go a little bit lower. It's sometimes it's very, very difficult, because eBay can remove feedback if it's fraudulent. I did have one of those, and I did have it removed. You can ask eBay to remove it. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to, unless the feedback is abusive,
feedback extortion or abusive or just completely not true.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Then they can't.
If it's the buyer's opinion about something, then
yeah, there's nothing
you're
that you
just
can
stuck
do
with
about
it.
that. So let us know your some of your feedbacks, especially some of the crazy
Yeah,
feedbacks,
we'd love
like
to hear
the
them.
nope. You know, what was the one you had? One of them that was just about as bad too.
I had one once. I got a neutral that just had a throwing up emoji picture.
Yeah.
That one got removed. eBay removed that one.
Yeah, because it was like, why even have it on there? So let us know in the comments down below what your comments are, or some of the feedback that you've gotten, some of your opinions on feedback, on the importance of feedback, whether it is important in your business model. Also, make sure you hit that like button that's right down there, and the subscribe button would really help Tracy and I as we're trying to grow our channel. We are really close to 500
We're
followers.
on the race to 100,000 followers. We just have 99,505 to go.
Yes. Also, if you can, please support the Stop Soldier Suicide. There'll be a link down below to that. That's like our unofficial partners. We're partnering with them, but they have no idea about it because I'm a veteran and it's something that is near and dear to my heart. So like, share, and subscribe, and
pet a cat.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.